The federal budget has just been announced here in Australia, so I wanted to take a look at the impact on property investors and first home buyers in this market. Now, it's kind of one of those things you should never talk about, which is money and politics, so we're going to do exactly that in today's video. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and let's dive in and take a look. Win for housing affordability in the 2022 budget, but there's a major missing piece of the puzzle. A $2 billion boost for affordable housing and extra support for first home buyers feature in the federal budget that delivers temporary relief from rising cost of living pressures for millions of Australians. The theme of the budget is really around affordability, both in terms of helping first home buyers and helping people with the cost of living. That's particularly in light of the fact that we'll probably see interest rate rises later this year, which will for some households increase their mortgage repayments. Interest rates are becoming a real focal point of the economy and property investors at this point in time. I don't think interest rates are going to have a massive increase in the short term. If they do increase interest rates, it's only going to be incrementally. It's not like we're going to have a 1 or 2% jump in a 12-month time frame. It may well happen, but it's very, very unlikely that they're going to take large percentage point jumps in interest rates. Let's keep reading. Additional $2 billion for affordable housing. The budget lifts the government guaranteed liability cap of the National Housing Finance and Investment Corporation by $2 billion to $5.5 billion, increasing the low-cost financing it provides to community housing providers for affordable housing. The funding came on top of a $500 million boost supporting 2,500 dwellings announced in December. A budget document focused on women noted that since it was established in 2018, the NHFIC has supported more than 15,000 new and existing affordable dwellings through the provision of low-cost loans to community housing providers. So basically, the government is providing $2 million to affordable housing providers, these companies that basically work to provide dense and affordable housing. And it's going to enable these providers to build more dwellings at a low cost for their financing and get more properties on the market for people who need a place to rent and a place to live. The next big takeaway is around the Home Guarantee Scheme for first home buyers being expanded. The Home Guarantee Scheme will double to 50,000 places a year, including a new regional program that is also open to people trying to get into the market. The budget papers noted there will be 50,000 guarantees per year for 3 years from 2023, then 35,000 a year as an ongoing measure. Mr. Moore said the expansion will help first home buyers access the market with a lower deposit, but noted that the number of places still falls well short of more than 150,000 first home purchases in 2021. The First Home Guarantee Scheme, I think, is awesome for a first home buyer. If you're out there and you haven't bought your first property yet and you've been working hard to save your money, then why not use this government incentive scheme to help you speed up the process of breaking into the property market? If you're able to save a 5% deposit, you could break into the market with $50,000 and buy a $500,000 to say an $800,000 property without having to pay lender's mortgage insurance. You can actually match the First Home Super Saver Scheme with the First Home Guarantee. What this essentially means is you can put your take-home pay through your super to save the tax you'd have to pay on that income, and potentially between you and a partner save $15,000 a year, and over 2 years save $30,000 each, and combine that in your supers and use that towards a deposit for a property purchase. You can then also apply for the First Home Guarantee and not have to pay LMI on your first property purchase as well. You could then also look at state government grants, and that applies to your local area. So you can really leverage off the First Home Super Saver Scheme, the First Home Guarantee, and use any state grants that are available to you, including stamp duty concessions, to break into the property market. I really think this budget announcement of increasing the number of places to allow people to get into the First Home Guarantee is a real win. Based on what I've heard, it seems to have been difficult to actually get a placement in the First Home Guarantee Scheme, so this is pretty exciting. The third factor I wanted to talk about the federal budget was temporary relief from the rising cost of living. Mr. Frydenberg said higher fuel, food and shipping costs are pushing up inflation and stretching household expenses, as the budget delivered immediate cost of living relief. More than 10 million low and income earners will get a one-off $420 cost of living tax offset. That's pretty great. So you really don't have to do anything to get access to this one-off tax offset. It's just going to be applied to your taxable income when you lodge your tax return at the end of the financial year. That means individuals already receiving the low and middle income tax offset will receive up to $1,500 when they lodge their return after the 1st of July this year. The LMITO, so this tax offset, will not be extended again, meaning low and middle income earners will effectively face a tax rise next financial year. Mr. Frydenberg said 6 million people, including pensioners, carers, job seekers, and concession card holders, will receive a one-off $250 cost of living payment within weeks. This sounds a little bit like helicopter money. So when the government's looking to stimulate the economy and help people out, they're basically dropping money as part of this federal budget to, pensioners, carers, job seekers, and lower income earners who are on concession cards. This is going to be a temporary boost to these people, but if they were struggling prior to this, $250 boost, they're likely to continue struggling with their finances after this temporary relief. It's not necessarily going to fix our long-term cost issues in the economy. The rising fuel prices, the rising costs of shipping and delivery costs, and the cost of food and beverages has also creeped up in recent times. As widely tipped, the government also announced a temporary halving of the fuel excise, with Mr. Frydenberg confirming the cut will flow through to the Bowser over the next fortnight. For the next 6 months, Australians will save 22 cents a litre every time they fill up their car. It's pretty hard not to get excited about a discount at the Bowser. This is also really going to help delivery costs, as a lot of Australia's food is transported up and down the coastline. So the big trucks that spend hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on fuel every year, they're going to be saving money as they do their trips, and hopefully this will flow through to the delivery costs. There's a lot more to unpack in terms of the federal budget, but for our focus today, we have an increase in $2 billion worth of funding for affordable housing. We have more grants in terms of people being able to access that first home guarantee, going up to 50,000 individuals. And we have some reduction in cost of living expenses with some temporary relief in terms of low and middle income tax offsets, some pensioners and some concession card holders receiving a one-off $250 payment, and also the reduction in living costs around the fuel excise being halved. I always find it interesting to see what the government's doing around expanding the economy and looking to continue to grow it while helping people out who need that help. Topics like social housing and affordability are very important, and it will be interesting to see how the government navigates this economic market that we live in, because property is so expensive here in Australia. For me, as a homeowner and investor, and obviously running the buyer's agency here at Purpose Property in Brisbane, it's important to keep your finger on the pulse and understand what's going on in the economy, but it's also important to take a step back and look at your personal situation. These macroeconomic factors may have a small impact on your situation, and it's important to take advantage of the government schemes and grants that are out there if you are a first home buyer, like we discussed about earlier. But at the end of the day, you need to take control of your finances. You need to try and understand and build your financial literacy and leverage other people's knowledge and understanding to continue to grow your wealth and fast track your journey. I quite like this saying, if it's meant to be, it's up to me, which really just means at the end of the day, your financial journey sits on your shoulders. You need to take responsibility for your actions, responsibility for what you're spending money on or what you're investing in, whether that's in property or spending things on lifestyle and living expenses. You need to own up and take responsibility for that. For me, it's about finding the balance between living the life I want to live and also saving and investing for the long term. I just booked a ski trip to go down to Perisher for a week with my family in around August. So, it's not all about saving and investing. There is definitely a balance in life. I hope my videos provide valuable insight into the budget and how you can look to invest in property and improve your personal finances. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel down below. If you're looking for a Brisbane buyer's agent to help you crack into the Brisbane market, head over to purposeproperty.com.au and we can have a free strategy session and have a chat for half an hour about your situation. Otherwise, click this video over here and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.